Hello folks, today is Friday, September 20th, 2024. As usual, my name is Jake Baldino, here to talk about all the video game news that has been going on this week. There's a bunch of stuff to dive into. The first thing being PlayStation 6 already? I know you're probably asking yourself that, but there's some interesting news here and possibly a little bit of info leaked. The first thing, the biggest news, of course, is the announcement that AMD is once again going to be supplying the chips for the next PlayStation. This report comes from Reuters. I will link that in a description down below, as well as everything else I talk about. Apparently, this deal has been finalized and it's been in the works since 2022. These things typically do take a long time, so this announcement isn't the most surprising thing in the world. We knew for a while who was doing the chips in the PS5. Of course, they've worked with AMD for quite some time now already, so this partnership makes sense. All you can really take from this is that, yes, there is another PlayStation coming eventually. It's probably not going to be anytime soon, but it seems like it's going to be powered by AMD. Interestingly enough, according to this report, Intel was trying to go for this. They were trying to kind of break back into the console market. They've been involved in the past, but this was essentially their big attempt to come back, but AMD won out once again. The full piece is interesting if you like tech news and you like following this stuff. It is essentially framed around how Intel technically lost out this business with PlayStation. But along with that, I have also seen some leaks circulating around, some people on message boards suggesting they already know the deal behind the chipset and the fact that the PS6 will have two SoCs, which is interesting. But again, this is just like a leak, a rumor, speculation. Take it with a grain of salt. But I did see that floating around out there, so I'll link that thread as well. I think all I could do is collectively with all of you guys say, slow down. This is probably the last we're going to hear about PS6 for a while, but at least the AMD news seemingly is pretty close to official thanks to Reuters reporting. Along with that, of course, if you missed earlier this week, PlayStation announced 30th anniversary edition hardware for both their regular PS5 as well as PlayStation Portal, their line of controllers, and the upcoming PS5 Pro. They're all going to have a really slick PlayStation 1 style and packaging and accessories. And this isn't an ad or anything. Like, I just think this looks awesome. And I know I complained and I have big issues with the price of the PS5 Pro, but I'm also part of the problem. And I think this console looks absolutely awesome. They did this for the PS4 and I missed out on that. So we'll see what happens this time. I do think this is going to be a scalper hellscape. So for the people that have the money and actually do want to get this and own this, I hope it works out for them, but I think it's going to be really tough and quantities are going to be limited. You know, maybe that's better for our wallet or our credit card debt or whatever we have, but let's move on. The other big bit of news this week, something I didn't expect right away, but it's news about the next Battlefield. Yes, we now have a confirmation of Battlefield's setting, sort of. It's going to take place in modern day. Yes, they are going back to the Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4 type of thing specifically with EA's Vince Zampella, who is now, of course, head of Respawn, but also head of a lot of other EA stuff, said that they are going back to what he called peak Battlefield, which is Battlefield 3 and 4, and that's what they're trying to do again. The back to basics approach seems to be the main mantra here. I've heard that in the past with games. We're going back to our roots. We're going back to basics. I think that is still something that is a concept that we have to see to believe. Talk is one thing, but seeing that executed is the real thing. Because I feel like with the last Battlefield, they were like, oh yeah, we're going back to what players really want. And then that kind of launched in a really rough state. So we'll see. But we know that it is current day and there's a piece of concept art revealed from IGN. And it just looks like a European city. Some people have speculated like a small French city or an Italian city. I don't know, but there's other little things like aerial battles in that concept art, helicopters, as well as what looks to be a forest fire, which could be interesting if there's like natural disasters going on as you're trying to like shoot other men. That's an interesting concept, especially if they do kind of like world-changing events in these big, large-scale battles. They did also mention large-scale battles. That's what they want to focus on again. So the next Battlefield, as we know right now, is in production. Apparently next year, they're going to reveal a little bit in terms of how fans can get involved with, I guess, presumably alphas and betas and stuff like that. But for now, all we have to go on is this logo and this little piece of concept art and Vince Zampella's words. I really hope it works out for them this time. Battlefield is a great franchise, even if it's had missteps. I would love to see what they say is back to the best of Battlefield, which is 3 and 4. I kind of agree. I also really like Bad Company and Battlefield 2, but hey, there's definitely some opportunity. It seems like EA is investing quite a lot into it this time around, so we'll just have to wait and see where it goes. Next up, it has happened. Begun. The Palworld Nintendo wars have. Yes, Nintendo and the Pokemon Company have officially announced their intent to sue Palworld. The creators Pocket Pair have apparently now been wrapped up in a patent infringement lawsuit, seeking, and I quote, injunctions and damages on the grounds that Palworld infringes multiple patent rights. Interestingly, most notably, is that it's not a copyright lawsuit, it is a patent lawsuit. But notoriously, that is kind of tricky in the world of video games because there's so much iteration and so many different like subgenres and things kind of replicating other things, and only so many game mechanics have been patented. We've talked in the past about how the Nemesis system is, but there's not like a massive amount, at least as far as I know. So a lot of people are speculating just what exactly, how Nintendo is really going to argue their case. In my opinion, the fact that it took this long and Nintendo really geared up, I think they probably very much believe they have a case, they have some ammunition, or maybe they don't, and maybe they are just kind of doing this as more of just a saber rattling type of thing. According to Ars Technica, the developers Pocket Pair don't know, they're not aware of what patents they apparently infringed upon here, other than like maybe it's just the idea of throwing a ball and catching creatures in it. I don't think this is really going to be settled quickly. I see this as like a long drawn out thing that we're probably going to be talking about more. Hopefully it's juicy, but I don't know, like I do like, well, like on a surface level, yes, there is a lot of Pokemon stuff to Palworld. I have played and covered the game extensively, and it is kind of its own thing. It does a lot of different other genre stuff in it. It's got a lot of survival elements, of course. It's got a lot of fun builder elements, weirder stuff, a totally different like tone, vibe, and atmosphere. So like I don't know how this is going to go down. Of course, it doesn't come down to us. It comes down to courts and stuff, and courts are not gamers. I mean, maybe they are sometimes, but who knows? So we'll just have to wait and see where this ends up, where this goes. It's kind of difficult because I am not a lawyer person. I know a couple that watch though, so shout out to you guys. Maybe you guys can help me out. But for now, that's just the announcement. We know there is like a patent lawsuit coming, so we'll keep you informed in the future. Next up, this video is sponsored by Vessi. If you're new around here, you might not know by now, Vessi has been a long-time sponsor. They provide comfy, dependable footwear, a variety of different shapes and styles for every type of person, for working, casual, city, country, and all their kicks are 100% waterproof. This is the coolest feature because it doesn't feel like a waterproof shoe. It just feels comfy, cool, and it makes you a little bit more adventurous when you can step fearlessly into puddles and mud, without your socks getting soaked. It's a good feeling. I've been wearing their kicks for years now. I have a pair at my back door when I'm ready to go outside and play with the dog on a muddy day or whatever. I'm always set. And for something a little bit dressier, we got the newest Courtside Classic. These are absolutely premium with a really nice sole, cool little accents, a little bit of a vintage logo on the tongue. Again, really comfortable. This is just an example of like how frequently Vessi just puts out really exciting stuff. You should check out their site. They're always launching new colors, new shapes and sizes. These are great because they look a little bit old school, but they have modern stuff as well. So if you want to check out their kicks, all you got to do is click the link in the description down below, or there's a QR code here. It goes to vessi.com/gameranx. When you use that link, when you're there, you get 15% off your first purchase at checkout. So now's a good time to jump in. Again, that's vessi.com/gameranx, and big thanks to Vessi for sponsoring this video. Also, it's been floating around on the internet that there may possibly be a state of play from Sony next week. No official confirmation at the time I'm making this video, but keep your eyes peeled. It might be a possibility. Usually when it's heavily rumored, it ends up being the case, but we'll see. The news circulating around this, the rumors are suggesting that we may get a re-release, like a PS5 version of Horizon Zero Dawn. It's not the most surprising thing in the world, even if it's not like the most exciting either, but according to Jeff Grubb from Giant Bomb, we might also see the announcement of another remaster or re-release, something that's not quite as exciting as Horizon Zero Dawn. So that to me doesn't really mean much at all. But who knows what other types of announcements are coming from this thing? Is it going to be big games? Is it going to be third-party studios, smaller games? We don't know for sure, but I just wanted to put this out here. But now some stuff I want to link in the description down below, some stuff you should check out. Some games releasing this week specifically. Frostpunk 2, I did the Before You Buy review on that. It is different from the first Frostpunk. I think some people aren't going to like that, but I think what they did is they realized that you can't perfect the original game, just do more of that. So essentially, they took a lot of the core ideas and created something bigger and newer, and I've had a lot of fun playing it. Also, Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster releases this week. I think if you're a hardcore fan of Dead Rising, you're going to have some nitpicks, but if you're new, it's cool. It's fun. The visuals are nice sometimes. I'm a little bit more picky, but like I am excited at the very least that more people are going to play Dead Rising because that original game is so unique and it really hits different. Also, Final Fantasy 16 released on PC. We did a quick look of that. We did a quick before you buy, just like, seeing if it ran on our machines. Also, God of War Ragnarok is now out on PC. As of right now, Steam reviews are sitting at kind of mixed. Seems like people are having some issues running it, but check it out. But yeah, with that, running that, good night, good luck. Also, Plucky Squire released this week. Got a great visual style, unique spin on platforming. I really want to find time to get my hands on this. So yeah. Also, two other new things. I'm going to link a couple of previews for Dragon Age The Veilguard. People got to play a few hours of this, and I'm surprised. The response is actually pretty positive. I say surprised just because like this game has been so long in the works, and like you just worry about BioWare and their last couple of misfires. So to hear that this might actually be a decent RPG or like action RPG, that's nice. We'll still have to wait and see how the final release shakes out. But yeah, I linked some previews in the description. Also, they just announced a new Yakuza game. Again, like the Yakuza at this point, just the train keeps rolling. It never stops. There's always something. And this one is insane. This is Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii. Okay, awesome. I'm in. It's Majima. Awesome. I'm even more in. This is releasing at the end of February 2025, so you have something fun to play in the winter season if you're around here. And yeah, the funny thing about this one is that this actually technically leaked a couple of months back, but I've seen some people say this. I didn't come up with this, but like the idea is that it sounded so ridiculous that people didn't believe it or think it was true. But now here we are. Also, in some more kind of entertainment news, I usually always kind of end with this. Netflix came out swinging with a bunch of stuff. First of all, they announced that we're getting more Cyberpunk anime. I think that's good news because Edgerunners was awesome. I think it showed a lot of promise, and I guess clearly they also see that there's like a lot of opportunity to just continue highlighting that world and all the random people that live in Night City and just how crazy and shitty things can get. They also dropped a trailer for Arcane Season 2. I'll admit I have not watched Arcane. I've heard it's the best thing in the world, so now we're getting a second season and you get a look at that here. Also, the Devil May Cry Netflix anime. This is led by Adi Shankar, and it looks really crazy. Interestingly enough, and like when I heard it in the trailer, I was like, wait, what? And it is official. Yes, you're hearing it right. Johnny Young Bosch is doing the voice of Dante here. Of course, he is the voice actor behind Nero in the Devil May Cry game. So a very interesting spin, mix up. I'm curious to see where this is going to go. I think there's a lot of possibility. Of course, Devil May Cry has been around the block in terms of adaptations and media and animated stuff. So I'm curious to see how this one can do it differently. And believe it or not, we've heard about it for a long time. It's been in the works, and now we got our first look at the Splinter Cell animated show. It is called Splinter Cell Death Watch, and we get a small, brief little tease here, a look at Sam Fisher and his voice. It's Liev Schreiber, Ray Donovan, Sabretooth, a million other characters I don't have time to list, but I am gonna, as the Splinter Cell annoying guy and Michael Ironside fanboy, look, if we can't get Michael Ironside as the voice, I think this is an inspired choice. I actually think this sounds pretty good. Like, obviously, it is so hard. It's like Nathan Drake without Nolan North, but I think this is a good choice. Where Blacklist, as much as like I like the game, the voice actor just did not fit Sam at all. I still think it's a shame we can't get Ironside here, but Schreiber, I think, is a cool choice. But we'll just have to see if the show is even worth anybody's time. There's some good people behind it. I'm hoping for the best. I'm just happy to have something Splinter Cell. But again, the jury's still out. So many animated video game shows. This is crazy. There's more. They showed more of the Tomb Raider show as well with Netflix. There's a lot to eat. So for now, speaking of that, I need to go eat lunch. That's all the gaming news that has been going on this week. Of course, it's all linked in the description down below if you want to read more. But let me know in the comments what you think about everything. The PS6 AMD thing seemingly being pretty much official, the leaks, rumors about the SoC, but also the Palworld stuff and the lawsuit. Do you think that has any weight? What do you want or expect from the next Battlefield game? Also, of everything releasing this week, Dead Rising, Plucky Squire, stuff like that, Frostpunk 2, or if you're playing something older, let us know. Let us know what you're playing. There's going to be a pinned comment, of course, down there. So use that thread to just reply. Let us know what you're playing, just so we can kind of know and gauge your interest on stuff for future videos. But that's really it. I got to get back to work. A lot of other upcoming games to check out. So keep your eyes peeled for before you buys for the next few weeks. But that's it. Clicking the like button helps us. Thank you. If you like getting caught up on the news here every single week, you can also follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube and other places at Jake Baldino. But really, that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great weekend. Be safe. Pizza's on me.